patch 4.1. So it is finally here. We've been waiting for this for a good bit. However, I've been really pleased. I do want to say before we get into this, I have been very pleased with Creative Assembly's kind of constant output of hot fixes. I think we got like 7 or like 7 or 8 hot fixes between the release of 4.0 and 4.1, which is good. You know, that is the kind of support we want to see from the devs going into the future of the Total War trilogy, of getting just constant little things fixed where possible. Granted, not all the hot fixes necessarily went off as planned. I think the most recent hotfix, or no, it was the one before the most recent one, had a couple of issues with it, but that's kind of the nature of the way fixing Total War goes, is that they'll fix some bugs and then it has kind of an unintended effect that gets discovered, and then they have to either roll it back and then, you know, do a better fix. But as long as they're continuing to improve, that's fine, as far as I'm concerned, because that's just kind of the nature of the system that we have to work with. So let's see what is in 4.1. This is supposed to be a fairly substantial patch, but let's dive right into it. It says, greetings, after 3 new faction leaders arriving in Total War Warhammer 3 with Shadows of Change, we've been hard at work to bring out a steady stream of fixes and adjustments in the build up to 4.1. But what comes with 4.1? We have some updates to settlements and siege battles, skill point resets. Okay, that sounds interesting. Homing 2.0, so an update to the projectile system, and 19 new themes for main menu background stuff, and then a whole bunch of bug fixes and stuff. All right, let's dive in. Oh, goodness. Okay, so release spotlight, skill point reset. This has been a deeply requested feature for a crazy long time. So I'm very happy to see this added. It's been a pretty popular mod, so it's good to see this coming into the base game. So we've added a button to allow you to reset skill points. When clicked, this will wound the character for 3 turns and clear all skills. Once the character returns, the skills can be completely redistributed. Use this to switch up your playstyle on the fly or adapt to a campaign that might have swung in a new direction so you remain on top. So, alright, so it doesn't cost any money or anything. It's literally just the character is functionally immediately wounded. I am curious if wound recovery time buffs will affect this, or if it's just like guaranteed to be 3 turns. I believe this is supposed to come out tomorrow, so I guess I'll do some tests. Morger is a really easy test for this, because he normally comes back every turn. So we'll have to see what that looks like, but I'm very happy to see that as a base feature in the game. Granted, I pretty much never use resetting skill points. I think the only time it tends to be that useful is when you confederate a faction. But it is a very good feature to have in, and is going to make confederation a much more rewarding experience now that you don't have to deal necessarily with the AI's decision making. You can just do it yourself, which is good. Siege, settlement, and siege battle updates. Okay, so I'm pretty curious about this. The goal of this patch is to improve your experience with the current settlement battle gameplay and the features within it. While adjustments have been made to interactions with settlements on the campaign map, the bulk of changes can be seen within the battles themselves. Let's look at the intent of changes, how we're moving towards it, and how it will alter your strategy. Linked capture points. Interesting. Okay. So to add more depth to gameplay when using stealth units to exploit the score-based victory objective, example being players using stealthy units to capture tier 5 Zarnagran early on in the campaign. A major capture point has been fairly exposed to stalker units and should be more of a final fallback location defending your settlement. This goes along with the system of 4.0 where the key building no longer has victory tickets. You will find the major capture location is locked by the key building location. Okay, and to gain access to the major location, you will have to capture the key building to unlock it. This is done to promote the more desired fallback gameplay and to make capturing a key point a little harder in the early game with these stock units. Okay, all right. I am very okay with this. So, okay, so basically this is addressing an exploit in major siege battles. So not settlements, but like full big ones, where the player would often just take like a unit of chameleon skinks or a unit of Noblar stalkers or just some stealth unit and basically just run them over a wall and run immediately to the final capture point, which when you would take it, then you would just sit on it while the AI tried to respond to what you were doing. And it would take them so long to get across the major settlement to where you were that you could just win enough victory tickets to win the battle. So this is basically to stop that exploit or make it harder. It doesn't stop it really, just makes it more difficult. Where now you have to capture the key location, which is the one that has the little horn on it that provides like different kinds of buffs. You have to take that, then that will unlock the main one that you have to go grab. So it gives the AI significantly longer to respond to what you're doing because you have to capture this point, which is going to alert them to your presence. And then you have to walk all the way over to the main one and capture that one and then earn enough victory tickets. I'm curious to see if this is going to buy enough time for the AI to kind of like go, oh shit, and kind of turn around and come get you. But I do think it adds some more nuance to sieges, which is good. Especially if you were doing like player versus player campaigns that involve siege battles. I think this actually would add another really solid layer to it. If you're someone that does like to fall back, it gives you more interesting locations to focus on falling back to. Because I've even had that happen against the AI where I'm defending my settlement and an AI unit will like sneak past me or will break and fall back into my city and then rally, and then it ends up going for my kind of main thing, and it takes me, takes a hot second to get back there, which is kind of an unnecessary stressor. So the fact that there has to be 2 individual things that are captured before they can do that, I think is good. I think it's very good. Settlement vision abilities. Oh, interesting. Okay, so towers are much better now. So towers have the ability to remove stock within 80 meters. That is super interesting. Okay. Let's see. Settlement vision abilities. Intent. To add further gameplay when using stealthy units to exploit the score-based victory objective, currently Stalker or the stealth units can walk freely without being spotted. Buildable settlement towers now have an ability to grant vision of Stalker units in the local area. This is to aid in finding sticky units who run through your cities. If the building is destroyed, it disables the ability. Cool. So just adds more nuance to using stealth units. I like that a lot, actually. Additional barricade positions. The intent is to add more battle flow control options to players in both major and minor settlement battles. An example being some of the minor settlement battles having split paths with a barricade in one path but not the other. Thank you, God. I have fucking hated that system. I am so glad they fixed that. We've gone through each of the settlement maps and added in more barricade placement options where possible. Some maps have more options than others that make use of the space within the settlement. Barricades have been strategically placed to face outward from their connected captured locations, effectively bolstering the defenses of these key points. While some of the barricade placements may appear unconventional at first glance, they have been carefully designed to address various angles of attack in settlements with multiple entrances. Our game was to create a more balanced and challenging siege experience for all players. So that one gets at me personally because I have been very frustrated that there are some maps. There are quite a few maps where it felt like you'd have a situation like this where it's split and one would not have a available barricade and the other would. So you would be forced to like basically put a wall in one and then put your units in the other one. So they'd have to fight without any kind of like advantage or bonus, which was really frustrating because it was like, why can't I just like put why can't I just put like one of the little statues there for buffs or one of these traps for debuffs? That way I can at least do something. So I am actually very, very fond of this change because I really did not like how they handled the barricade placements. Because I personally really like to use barricades. Not necessarily for like the wall option, but I like to use them a lot for the trap and the statue options, which gives buffs and debuffs to really help swing fights. Restricted single build changes. The intent is to reduce player frustration and micromanagement when interacting with the toggled building system by allowing a slot to only have a single building. The player attacker / defender ratio is 70-30 for minor settlements and 87-13 for major settlement battles. The changes should make these battles more enjoyable when playing as an attacker. 70-30 and 87-13. Not sure what that exactly means. We've changed the way that buildable towers and barricades can be interacted with in a battle. The deployment phase is the exact same. The changes will be made during the battle phase and will limit building slots to only a single building. Oh, very interesting. What this means is that once you have built in a slot, you will not be able to dismantle it or rebuild it when it is broken. Plus, once a building has been destroyed in that slot is gone forever. You can still swap out and upgrade building variants throughout the battle, but you will now need to save up for more expensive towers to deploy them later in battles. Okay, so, all right, that works. So that has definitely been a feature a lot of people have been frustrated with. It was the idea that your opponent would build a tower and then you'd blow it up, and then you'd build another tower and then you'd blow it up, and then they'd build another tower. So they initially tried addressing that with just having a longer cooldown between the phases, but now they're just dead forever. So if your buildings get blown up, whether a barricade gets destroyed or a tower gets destroyed, it's now just gone forever. So that adds more. That definitely adds a lot more consideration about where you're going to put these things. Interesting. Okay. And then weapon damage versus buildings rebalance. Okay, so this is what I was about to ask, because, like, I'm fine with that, but if they're going to do that, the towers need to have significantly better defenses, because right now, like, a single unit of peasant archers can walk up to a tower and go pew, 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 and it just blows up immediately, which that should not be the case if, you know, you only get one. It should be a fair bit tankier. So let's see. Damage caused by missile attacks split between base and armor piercing, and there's a building multiplier now. So this unit has 50% damage multiplier against buildings. Okay. Intent is to increase the overall time it takes for units to destroy buildings. This will come alongside a building health rebalance, which we'll get into in a moment. The current sentiment is that buildings are destroyed too quickly to be effective during defense. I agree with this very strongly. The building damage modifiers for melee missile weapons have all been rebalanced to make sure units feel like they're doing the kind of damage you would expect. Some units, such as Skaven Warp Grinders, the Dwarf Miners, and Artillery, are more themed towards the destruction of buildings. This will be shown in their greater ability to destroy them in battle. Units with fire damage, okay, I like that a lot, because fire damage in tabletop did actually do bonus damage, or, well, it re-rolled its chance to do damage if you were hiding in a building. So fire damage or the wall breaker attribute will get increased bonus values for modifier when attacking buildings, and these bonuses stack. So that's very cool. I like that a lot. And this information is now displayed with weapon or missile strength. This is only displayed for units that can attack walls. Okay, interesting. All right. Let's see. Buildings, health, rebalance, and progression. The intent is to add more incentives and usefulness to upgrading the wall building and increase the overall time it takes for units to destroy the walls in battle. This will work in tandem with the weapon building damage modifier mentioned above. We've added more functionality to the defensive building trains on campaign. Oh. Are they talking about... Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so they're talking about the garrison structure. In the garrison structure in settlements. The building's health now scales up as you improve your settlement wall defense building in the campaign, providing you with a more entrenched defensive location to hold off your foes. Primary focus to these changes are the outer walls, the outer perimeter towers, and the gates. Note that unique settlements like Altdorf have these increases unlocked by the main campaign buildings rather than the walls. Each time you upgrade the walls of your major settlement, we now increase the building health in the battle. You will now benefit from increased health values for your walls, towers, and gatehouses that scale up with the building levels. The overall health of an outside wall has been approximately doubled. That is so nice. I'm really happy to see that. That's a good first step. I don't think this gets us all the way to where I'd like to see a lot of the siege stuff go, but I think this is a really, really solid first step of adding more interactability between the campaign map and the battle map for sieges. So for major settlements, every time you build up your garrison structure, the wall one, it is now going to make your walls significantly more powerful, which I like a ton. That is really, really good. Still, I think there's still a lot of work to do on sieges, but this is an excellent first step. Walled towers and buildable towers range split. The intent is to create a difference between the projectile ranges of the wall towers and the built towers. We now have split the ranges between the settlement wall towers and the buildable towers within the settlement. The wall-based towers have retained their longer range as they're built into the settlement, whereas the buildable towers have much reduced range as their roles to be more of a reactionary solution to enemies attacking a specific area within your settlement. Okay, interesting. Oh, wow. So yeah, it's only got 200 range. Okay. I am very okay with this. I actually think this is an excellent change. So in the 4.0 and before, towers have like crazy obnoxious huge ranges inside settlements, like just massive fucking ranges. But it often results in that they tend to start shooting at targets they can't necessarily hit because it's such a long range, and because of the arc of fire, they end up like crashing into random buildings and stuff, which is not ideal. B, it's a lot easier to dodge the projectiles because they're shooting at such an extreme distance, which is not ideal. And C, it was more punishing for certain kind of troops than others because, if you were like a flying monster that went into a settlement, you would be getting the shit shot out of you from like all directions. Whereas if you're a smaller infantry unit, it was, easier to hug to buildings and stuff like that. So I do think this is a really good change. It makes the towers more intuitive. It's going to make them better for like, oh, I'm being attacked in this specific area, so I want the tower in that area to, be built. New backgrounds. We're delighted to enhance your Total War Warhammer 3 experience with a touch of nostalgia and some added personalization. We've reintroduced all the main themes from Total War 1 and 2, offering more ways to customize. Indulge in the classic 9 from the first installment, or the 10 animated from the sequel, alongside all of the Warhammer 3 ones. Okay, that's cute. That's not, that's good. They had that art lying around, might as well bring it back. So, good. Stability and performance. Fixed a rare crash that could occur when a legendary hero showed up for the AI. Changing the difficulty from another difficulty to legendary and back to another Oh, thank you, God. I fucking hated this. I'm super glad they fixed that. Okay, so basically what they fixed is that if for whatever reason you decided to play a legendary campaign, when you play legendary, it auto checks the battle realism box, which is like the restrictions on your camera in battle. But if you went back down to a non-legendary difficulty, like to very hard, it would leave the battle realism box checked, which sucked because like the only reason I don't play legendary on a regular basis is because of battle realism. I find it to be a super annoying feature. I don't like it. So I think and that has happened to me so many times where I will start a new campaign and I was doing legendary in the campaign before that, and then I'm like, fuck, I'm still in battle realism. So I'm really glad it no longer does that. Let's see. Fix the battle realism checkbox and campaign options. Showing the setting from the preference files instead of the settings. Okay. Fix some pathfinding issues, fix a multiplayer crash, and fixed a soft lock. Very good. Gameplay and rules. Let's see. Reworked homing projectiles to be far more aggressive and accurate in their homing, allowing them to hit targets more consistently. All right. Fixed diplomacy offers not being interactable if they were received when the diplomacy panel was already open. Spellcasters that do not have snipe are now revealed when hiding while casting spells. Okay, that's really cool. So that makes snipe actually a useful feature on wizards. I think that's very cool. Fix an issue where Warriors of Chaos / Norscan slave captives would sometimes appear for other races post-battle rather than just them. Interesting. All right. Ambush withdraw zones have been moved to where they are supposed to be. Very good. Siege capture points now use sticky tooltips and contain relevant information about capture point behavior. All right, good. Alert has been added for attackers when they're losing control of a location that unlocks another. That's excellent. So it's going to make it a lot harder for someone to use stealth against you to unlock and take your settlement. Fixed number of Lord recruitment rank technologies that were not increasing them when replacing a Lord. Okay, that's really good. I've encountered this issue. So there was a problem where if you were recruiting a Lord in like a settlement, like you went to the settlement and you activated hire new Lord, it would have all your recruitment rank buffs to those Lords. But if you selected a Lord in an army that was already deployed and tried to replace them with a new Lord, the replacement Lords would all be at level 1. You wouldn't get your buff, so I'm glad they fixed that. Certain buildings that applied corruption faction-wide were applying it to every region, and so it was stacking horrendously. Now it is back to just per province. Okay, cool. Fix some instances where settlement building was damaged, the settlement would lose its walls. Okay. Let's see. AI rules and logic. Fixed an issue where AI flying units remained idle after deploying the attacker's reinforcing army in a walled settlement. Okay, good. AI fixes are always good. Fix an issue with reinforcing units being idle if they showed up in a siege battle. Okay. Garrisons will now correctly enter the battlefield under the control of the AI when delegated to the AI. That's good. I've tried to do that a few times, and it's annoying when they show up and they're still under your control. Improvements have been made to ensure AI defenders in settlement battles are not pulling back too aggressively. Cool. Improve the position of AI archer units to allow them to pull back from settlement walls when the enemy has entered the walls. Reduce the frequency of ground-based AI melee units attempting to engage flying enemy units and then just sitting there not knowing what to do. Siege battles defending an AI can now construct deployables when reinforced by a player army. Oh, okay, that's nice. On easy and normal difficulties, the attacking AI will no longer form up and wait outside a settlement for missile units to attack. Instead, they're just going to storm in. Gotcha. Let's see. Cool. Fix an exploit with magic missiles. I feel like that one comes back all the time. Let's see. We've adjusted the unlock requirements for campaign completion achievements to include the long type victory in Immortal Empires alongside domination and ultimate. Achievements cannot be granted retroactively but can be earned on existing save files that complete the long victory after a patch. That's really good because for some factions, that's good. Like long victory is the way it's always been, so I didn't really feel it was necessary to make it ultimate or domination. So I think that's good, especially for people that are achievement hunting. Battle adjustments, single entity knockdown reactions. We've adjusted the behavior of units targeting a single entity that's been knocked down in combat. This can be broken down into two separate cases. When a unit with multiple entities knocks down a single entity target, previously they would engage in a charge behavior where they charge across and around the knockdown entity until they stood back up. Under the new system, they have two new cases they can use. If the knockdown entity lands outside of the squad's OBB, which is a concept where we draw an invisible box around the cluster of a unit to determine the rough space it controls and observes for entity level behavior, the unit will move to place their formation over the fallen entity, then wait for it to get up. If the knockdown entity lands inside of the squad's OBB, they will remain stationary and simply wait for their target to stand back up, maintaining their surround. For single entity versus single entity matchups, once the target is knocked down, the attacking entity will move towards them and place themselves near their fallen foe in position to attack them again when they stand up. Be aware these do not apply to pursuing routing targets. Interesting. Okay. Projectile homing 2.0. We've refactored how the game handles homing behavior for projectiles, making them significantly more reliable and opening up space to create a variety of low and high power homing missiles. Projectiles prior to this change could not correct their course vertically and were bound by a lot of limitations. But now we've unlocked the power to create truly frightening cruise missiles. As part of this change, we've rebalanced existing homing profiles to account for the most aggressive implementation, but on average, expect homing projectiles to be more effective at hitting the mark in general. Here's a quick example with Count Noctilus's Wraithstorm. So, oh yeah, okay, so it can like full-on vertically turn up to hit that Pegasus. Okay, so yeah, that is significantly more accurate. All right. Here's a list of the units that have been affected by homing missiles. Orion, the Sisters of Twilight, both Glade Lords, the Glade Captain, Ulrika, the Waste Stalker, the Luminarch of Hish, Doom Diver Catapults, the Hell Cannons, and the Soul Grinder of Zinch. Abilities that now have better seeking missiles, Goggly Glare, Volley of Arrows for both High Elves and Dark Elves, Crippling Throw, Ice Shard, Dart of Doom, Eagle Quiver, Rod of Torment, Wraithstorm. Oh my god, so many. Oh, so many. So, okay, this is good. This is good. This is going to make a lot of these abilities a lot more reliable to use, which is good. Races and Balance. The Embedded Hero training action now increases experience gained rather than a flat amount per turn. Okay, I like that. I think that's a good change. Added missing garrison units to Empire Forts, High Elf Gates, and the Great Bastion when occupied by Ogre Kingdoms or Wood Elves. Okay, so you can actually now defend them. Fixed an issue that would allow units with stock and fire while moving, but not snipe to shoot while remaining invisible. Okay. Pretty much all the vortex spells. Have been slowed down, so they don't move as quickly across the battlefield, so they're able to deal significantly more damage and be more useful in the area that you cast them in, which is very, very good. Life Bloom, Children of Nurgle, Restless Dead, Troll Guts, which are, I believe, all of these are healing type effects. Yeah, these are the passive heals for the lores of Nurgle, Life, and Vampires. And then Troll Guts, of course, is the big healing spell for the lore of the Great Maw. Have all had the duration reduced, so they're not going to heal as much as they used to. Soul Stealer also is going to heal less than it used to. Rune of Doom no longer has map-wide range. Instead, it has a localized range. Fireball. Fireball is now going to more reliably explode once it's hit through a number of entities instead of just when it hits the ground. And it also has a much larger explosion radius. I think that's really good. So that means it's going to be far more useful against infantry specifically, because it used to be that it would just pierce through an infantry unit, knock a bunch of models or kill a bunch of models, and then go behind them and blow up on the ground. Now it's going to blow up after it's calculated that it's hit a certain number of people. Skills. Fixed a large number of redline skills that apply to rank 7 units and above, but were not applying to regiments of renown. Good. Added character traits for when fighting battles and using heroic actions against the Chaos Dwarves. Oh, good. I'm glad they fixed that. So that's the one where, like, if you fight Chaos Dwarves enough times, you'll get like a plus leadership bonus for fighting Chaos Dwarves for the rest of the campaign. Or if you use enough heroic actions from one of your heroes on Chaos Dwarf stuff, they'll get the hates Chaos Dwarf trait, which you could get against anybody else. Items and ancillaries. The student and archivist followers will now drop when a character ranks up on the same turn as you complete when you research a tech. Good fix. Fixed number of issues with the Sword of Cain. Cool. So non-standard armies can no longer earn it, which is good. It now correctly also returns the Shrine of Cain when the owner is defeated that doesn't equip it. Good. There are now ancillary set bonuses for all of these characters who have item sets but did not have a bonus for it. Cool. And then we're into faction-specific stuff. All right, here we go. Added missing corruption effects for unique herdstones found in Lothern and the Oak of Ages. Cool. Added unique herdstone buildings to Kislev, Zarnagrin, and Weijin. Yeah! Awesome. That makes me really happy. Good. That was something I was bugging them about. Good. Awesome. More unique herdstones. Love it. Fix some cases of events appearing for Beastmen that would modify unit recruitment costs despite them not having it. Beastmen no longer receive events that affect growth. Beastmen factions will no longer receive missions about growth or income. All good fixes. Fixed a rare instance with a bug for the final battle. Fixed an issue where Beastmen characters were being recruited to rank 15 or higher. There were some bugs with the challenges. Okay, that's good. I'm glad they fixed that. Units. Multiplayer caps on Zongors. Malagor can no longer capture points. Zongors are more expensive and count towards your gore herds with shields. Okay. Ungors are cheaper. Butchers of Kalkengard are more expensive. Razor Gore now capture like cavalry instead of infantry, and they also do not count as chariots. The Incarnate Elemental Beast is now on the Beastman skill tree. Tarek's now buffs them as well. Kazrak's Houndmaster skill applies to Manticores, and Morgur's Abstraction of Tzeentch applies to Zongors. Oh, okay, that's cool. Bretonia, they fixed the Estalion Diestro follower, not supposed to be Empire only, and also you can no longer you can raise and sack Beastman Hearthstones, which you used to not be able to. Chaos Dwarfs. Heroes can no longer be embedded. No, that's terrible. I don't think that's a good idea at all. Oh man, I'm gonna make a fuss about that. I hate this. This is not cool because that means you can't put. So I don't like that because that means you can't put sorcerer prophet or sorcerer prophets heroes like demon smiths or the demon smith, right? But you can't put the hero into the convoy anymore. So I really hate that because it means you can't have a wizard in the convoy, which I don't think that's cool because Grand Cathay, which granted they could say this down further below, but like I really liked putting heroes in my convoys. I don't like that. Fixed issue where certain buildings could not be constructed in certain settlements. Okay. They fixed or altered a bunch of recruitment costs. Cool. Fixed number of innate traits that were not functioning properly. Fix some tech problems. Fix some magic items not dropping via the Tower of Czar's seat. Okay. Demons of Chaos. They should add Bellicor to the Demons of Chaos. Let's see. Shrine of the Widowmaker landmark now provides favored corruption of the owner. Demon Prince now recruits god-specific versions of Chaos Furies, depending on the settlement. He can now get landmark buildings. Good. Removed research tech because he don't have a tech tree, which is dumb. They should give him a tech tree. Blue scribes are now available for the Demons of Chaos skirmish versus AI roster. Okay, whatever. Dark Elves. Fixed an issue where AI controlled Dark Elves were not getting Black Arcs. All right. Let's see. Fix some Dark Elf settlement buildings for colony stuff. Fix an issue with Marathi. Cold One Chariots can no longer range attack walls. That makes sense. Cold One Chariots now come off your unit cap. The Bloodreich Shrine has better homing projectile stuff, and they've also changed the damage to where the explosion that it does deals less damage, but the impact damage is much higher. So it's more of a generalist weapon and less specialized against infantry. Okay, so we can see here it deals significantly less missile damage, cut in half, and it no longer has bonus versus infantry. However, there are now 5 shots in a volley instead of 1 shot per volley, so it now deals more base damage, but its explosion damage has been greatly reduced. The Bloodrack Medusa now has a little bit of anti-large to make it better at trading into other cavalry and big things. So it's received. So wow, a little. That's a measure. Yeah, that's a big measure. So it's traded 5 melee attack for 30 bonus versus large, and also has significantly more mass. Let's see. Oh, good. They fixed this. Okay, this is another thing I was bitching about. Very nice. So the Great Temple of Hashut now provides Oath Gold instead of Winds of Magic when the dwarves build it. Good. So taking over Zarnagron is no longer pointless for dwarves. Grand Cathay, heroes can no longer be embedded. I really don't like that. I really don't like that. Unless they're going to add the ability for caravans to get wizards, I think this sucks. Because I really enjoyed putting heroes in my caravans just so I could have a wizard. Because like the caravan battles can already be difficult. I really don't like that, because this is basically just making it where caravans are even less powerful than they already were, and they already struggled, especially Cathayan ones. I really dislike this. Fixed an issue with Matters of State. Okay. You are no longer able to target UMBO's deployed garrison with the other Matters of State actions. Settlement building construction can no longer be canceled from the Matters of State. Okay. Let's see. Fixed upkeep on Jade and Jet Lions. So now they are more expensive in upkeep. Harmony has been debuffed just a smidge. Onyx Crowmen are more expensive. Let's see. Skills. Grand Magistrate, stand your ground skill no longer applies to all units in his armies, just himself. All right. I mean, he does more stuff now, so I guess that's fine. Closest to the heavens. Spell intensity has been cut down a bit. Okay. Greenskins. Fix a soft lock problem. Fix the Sea Dragon's Teeth landmark building. Fix some ingredients for Grom. Remove the poor leadership point from the Super Squigs because they're unbreakable. Wurzag's Bonewood Staff is no longer map wide. Let's see. And then some various cost changes. So Black Orcs are cheaper. Biggins are cheaper. Savage Orc Biggins are cheaper. Rogue Idols cheaper. And Night Goblin Archers are cheaper. High Elves. Fix some bug problems. High Elf Fortress Gates now get supplies. Fixed High Elf Beast Casters having the wrong transformation of Cadence spell when reducing the Winds of Magic cost in their tree. Some price changes to characters. Corn. They can now recruit the Blood Brute Behemoth in campaign because it is explicitly a Khornet creature, so that makes sense. Though they still haven't given Tarex the Minotaurs of Corn, which is bullshit. Kislev. Fix some preview stuff with Mother Ostankia. Let's see. When a Kislev faction completes the supporters race, they will now receive a dilemma offering Confederation, a military alliance, or war declaration rather than instant Confederation. Okay, so it gives you a choice about what you want to do. Added missing diplomatic relations between Kislev and vampire counts. Tweaked the Gate of Thrones. Okay, cool. Oh, Gate of Thorns. I was like, Gate of Thrones? What the fuck is that? Gate of Thorns. Okay, so that's one of the curses from Mother Ostankia. Okay, so now it used to deal damage when you moved. Now it makes you slower and makes you significantly more fatigued when moving, which I think that's fair because the direct damage when moving was kind of insanely OP. Units. Let's see. Summoned things in the woods units are ethereal, which is why they look different. So the ones summoned by the Beastcasters, but because they're ethereal, so they're like full on spirits now. They don't have armor. Ulrika has spread control. Mother Ostankia has less ammo than she used to, and her goulash can only affect 5 units now instead of unlimited. Akshina ambushers have received pretty major changes, which is good because a lot of people, myself included, were pretty critical of their design. Change the unit profile to be less armor piercing and more pure damage. The intent here is to make it a high alpha damage unit, but to give it a more unique role when compared to other units, which is good because they just curb stomp Streltsy. So now they deal significantly more base damage, but way less armor piercing damage, and also their melee attack and melee defense has gone way down. So 2 less melee attack, but 10 less melee defense, which is good because they were absolutely ridiculous. So I'm really glad they have a much more unique niche. And this is also going to make the Streltsy actually have a useful role. So if you want really good armor piercing, you go with Streltsy. If you want really high base damage, you go with Akshina, which is good. Cool. Technology. They fixed the Howling in the Woods problem. And they also fixed the sympathetic growth problem. Okay. Lizardmen. Let's see. Fixed a number of instances where provinces were not in the geometric web properly. Fixed number of items that could not be stolen, fused, or salvaged. Good. Fixed Oxiodal having negative issues. Lord Mazdamundi is no longer nicer to Chaos Force than anybody else for some reason. Let's see. Fix that. This is a change that I was bugging them to fix, so that's really... Oh! Yo, we got all the Slann. We got all the Slann. Oh my fucking god. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Oh shit. Oh man. Best patch. Best patch. Okay, so they fixed the quaddles so that they have the Bjorn's Time Warp, but we have all the Slann. Oh, thank you. We finally have all the fucking Slann. That makes me so excited. Oh my god, dude, Mazdamundi campaign is gonna be based now. Oh my good god. They didn't just do it wasn't even just that they were like, all right, here's the Heaven Slann that you have in multiplayer but not campaign. No, they added all of them. Oh, thank you. Okay, so we still need the Wood Elves, the Dark Elves, and the Ogre Kingdoms to get their missing lores, and we still need the Empire Master Metal Wizard. But hey, progress. Blessed Horn Ones now have Primal Instincts as intended. Blessed Stegodon now has 15% missile resistance. Quaddles no longer kill themselves by going through walls. That's good. Nurgle cult buildings will now apply their effects when growth is at 0 due to having a 5 population surplus. Oh, okay, that's good. I've had issues with that for cult buildings. Ogre Kingdoms. Greasus is faster. Scrag has more armor. Gorders have more health. Iron Guts are more expensive. Ogre Bulls are more expensive. Some Ogre Bull, all Ogre Bulls have less charge bonus. Nobblar Trappers are more expensive and are now tier 2. Fixed a tech issue with heavier gut plates. I will say, I understand that it's probably much easier for them to make the Slann of all of the Winds of Magic as opposed to the other ones, because the other factions actually tend to have slightly more unique little things going on, whereas the Slann, the only thing that changes is the color of the toad himself. Everything else is the exact same. The others tend to have slightly different effects, or even unique designs when it comes to the Empire. But hopefully we will continue to get more wizards, but that progress. Let's see. Skaven. Let's see. Fixed number of Skaven factions being unable to get Eshin sorcerer heroes. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, that's that's interesting. That's a good fix, because it never occurred to me that you never ever see the AI with Eshin sorcerer heroes. So hopefully that means we'll start seeing them more now. Let's see. Fixed a couple of other random things. Some random bugs. Gutter runners in the garrison are now replaced with rat ogres. Let's see. Random little things here. All right, cool. Nothing crazy there. Slaanesh. Nakari. Some of Nakari's attacks are now better against infantry than they were. Fixed an issue where demon cult buildings were not showing up in Chaos War settlements. Fixed the seduction cost. Okay, good. The Emperor, or the Empire rather. Stahlberg's letter gives bonus experience when fighting Bretonia instead of undead. Interesting. All right. Fix an issue with Go Trek and Felix having too many times of their items. Fix some other just random little things. Chosen of the Gods can now damage walls. Oh, all right. Cool. That's gonna interesting. All right. Tzeentch. Oh, good lord, Tzeentch. Added a search bar to the formless horror panel and skirmish versus AI changeling form selector to make it finding a specific form easier. Borrowed time changing of ways can now be used on the ocean. Clarified requirements for changing of the ways transfer settlement action. Fixed an issue where the mission chain for blue scribes would be aborted. Fix the changeling's parasitic income buildings to not have the effect that hides armies locally. Fix the formless horror panel when selecting random. If you have no form. Fix the changeling's Immortal Empire's long victory reward to not applying the +10 recruit bonus correctly. Fix an issue where losing your final cult as the changeling wasn't triggering a death for check for faction death. When recruiting a saved character, you will no longer recruit from the faction your cult is currently in as intended. Fix an issue where Sartorial would lose his immortality. Okay. Fix an issue with the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch characters where the high level magic skills required unlocking all previous skills rather than just 4 of them. Lore of the Wild has been added to the Blue Scribes. Fix summon greater demon units having regular spells instead of bound spells. Oh, okay, that's good. Let's see. The Changeling is now significantly cheaper. The price scales based on the transformation you choose. Cool. Blue Scribes are now significantly cheaper in multiplayer. Good. Mulith Vortex Beast is more expensive. Let's see. Cockatrice is better AI usage. And Zongors are more expensive. Fixed an issue with tech. Vampire Coast. Let's see. Fix some stuff with the Pieces of 8. Change the raised dead recruitment maximum capacity to display the accumulated maximum between region and province recruitment pools. Fix the issue with Kislev diplomacy. Warriors of Chaos. Warriors of Chaos no longer have access to Fushao's unique port, or maybe fixing so that they do. I assume so they. I'd have to check. I'm not sure which one they would be. Let's see. Fix Belagor's unholy manifestations having cooldowns. Fix the demonic pack technology. Piracy event will no longer trigger when playing as Warriors of Chaos. Fix an issue with Herald Hammerstorm. Let's see. Fix Kolek's Lord trait so it now applies missile resistance to Dragon Ogres. Right, what else? Fix the 100 to 199 health segment of Athaloran Forest so that it actually gives you your upkeep production. Added malevolent dryads to the Wood Elf allied outpost building garrisons when used by Drycha. Fixed an issue where the Wood Elf settlement chain was not providing the correct number of construction slots at each level. Drycha now receives the Stolen Power trait when she completes the quest battle for Coadil. Awesome. Let's see. Fix an issue with the wrong transformation of Cadence spell. Fix the Dart of Doom. Okay. Prologue stuff. They fix a little bug there. Let's see. Realm of Chaos has some slight fixes. Mirrors of Madness has some slight fixes. Immortal Empires. Fix the Southern Sentinel settlement and Immortal Empire starting with a settlement level 2 low. Fix an issue with Yeti Peak. Fix the Journey Complete event not appearing when characters traveled via the Uzkalak. Fix the number of final battles being in the wrong location. I did a lot of reporting on that, so I'm glad they hopefully have fixed those. Fix the reduction to sea lane travel time not applying to the River Ruin sea lane. Fix Kurgan Warband army problems. The Pillar of Bone landmark in Death Gorge can be constructed by more races. Good. I've been banging on that drum a while. The Hall of Rebirth in Lamia can now be made by the Vampire Coast. Excellent. That's another thing I've been banging on very loudly. The Dragon's Emperor's Wrath now also affects the region's Bloodwind Keep and Foundry of the Bones beyond the Great Bastion. Excellent. That's what it always should have been doing, so I'm glad it does that now. Fix the Sea Dragon's Teeth landmark, producing gemstones that don't trade. Let's see. Okay, good. Good. Battles. Adjustments to collision resolve issues with flying units being submerged in the Blown Chill River. Fix instances of passive AI in Lewin's Sword of Corone battle. Fix AI in Azhag Slagus Slash's quest. Oh, goodness. Siege battles. Cool. Multiplayer. In sequential turns, when another human player ends their turn, all open panels now immediately close. Multiplayer pre-battle timer running out will gray out all but the play battle options. Okay, so just a couple of bug fixes. Graphics. Fixed a bunch of graphical issues. Cleaned up assets in the Lustria Ogre Camp. Improve the quality of Mother Ostenkia's Cauldron. Yuan Bo's weapon no longer slips from his hand when he's sent flying. Yuan Bo no longer skibbity-doos across the ground when he's getting up. The Changeling has shapeshifted into someone that holds their staff correctly now. Ancestral warriors, because their ghosts no longer accumulate blood. Right, I think I can skip most of these. Fix audio issues, UI stuff. You can no longer pull a fast one by clicking the diplomacy buttons quickly to avoid invalid actions to the deal, you crafty devil. Let's see. Units with burst file projectiles now correctly display their ammo as a number of bursts remaining. Removed references to Maelstrom attrition as it does not exist in Immortal Empires. Echoed Hellbrass is now appropriately named Echoed Hellbrass during the Echoed Hellbrass quest battle to unlock Echoed Hellbrass. Cool. Fix the following skills from not appearing. Okay. Let's see. Pre-battle issues, changeling icon to hide, Demon Prince parts, quest for Itza now zooms in on the Mage-Priest. The Dragonhorn ancillary has been renamed to the Horn of Vol to avoid confusion. The Horde building panel is no longer accessible in the character details panel at 4K resolution. Blue Scribes icon has been fixed, so it's no longer showing the Lore of Light when it show the Lore of Zinch. Okay. I'm just skipping through these to see if there's anything that jumps out at me as like, oh yeah, this is super important. Dwarf runes can now be removed with a double click. Added missing on-screen name to a key map point, Bizarre Nagrund. Sotek sacrifices and Grom's Cauldron now have sticky tooltips. Wow, so many bug fixes, my lord. There are now animations for the resources of Slaves, Prestige, Labor, Spirit Essence, and Dread. Alright, a lot of really good bug fixes. Cool. Some Cathay technology names and description have been updated to be consistent with the previous rework. Alright. Looking forward, and with that, you've read everything for 4.1, which will show up tomorrow. Jump in, try out all this new stuff, and let us know what they have to offer. We'll be back on news with next patch and new content in the near future. And as they say, is that for this particular update. See you on the battlefield. Okay, so pretty good. I am pretty happy with this set of patch notes. I think there are some very good things in here. I will admit I am probably overly excited about having access to all of the Slann now instead of just like 4 of them. That's a really good change. I am looking forward a lot to the projectile homing changes and the siege changes in particular, and going to be messing around a lot with that. But overall, I think really good. So please do let me know what y'all think down in the comment section about this patch. I would have liked, I think, a little bit of information about if they're going to be doing anything with Shadows of Change. Obviously, now that we're through this patch, we're kind of like in a, well, what's going to happen for the rest of the holiday season? Which they have, CA has about 1, 2, 3, 4. CA has about 4 weeks left, give or take, to get something out as far as a DLC or major update. I could do a standalone video to this, but I'll just kind of succinct my thoughts here that I really, really hope that they are more focused on adding more content to Shadows of Change than they are to putting out a Thrones of Decay DLC. I mean, I can wait for Thrones of Decay till after the holiday season if they can get us. I would prefer solving the Shadows of Change crisis first, because I think so much of the community just isn't really going to care about Thrones of Decay because they're still going to be really bitter about Shadows of Change. So I think they need to fix that first to really try and earn back community trust, and then you can show us what you have in Thrones of Decay. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope y'all enjoyed the video and it was informative or whatever. And I will see you guys around. Thanks for watching.